Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Redhead Boy podcast, hosted by me, Harry. Hello, it is the end of April, nearly. Hope everyone had a cool month. Yeah, I pretty much did. I've been busy with work, like usual, making that money. So busy doing that. Been doing some writing. And most importantly, have been watching some movies and TV. So the title of this episode is my monthly roundups, which is going to be try to be a monthly thing. I'm not going to promise, because people that listen to the show know that I sometimes go off format. I say sometimes, I mean all the time. So this is sort of like a one episode where I review a few things, the standouts, let's say, that I've watched this month. And my first one that I'm going to chat about is the new Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum comedy, which is The Lost City. And before I do, here's a cheeky clip.
Okay, don't panic.
What do you mean don't panic?
Just don't panic.
No, don't stop saying panic. I'm panicking now.
You have something on your back.
No!
Stop
What is
screaming,
that?
stop screaming,
What is
stop
that? Do you have any on you?
No.
Why don't you have any on you?
Just like watching that clip, that part of that clip that I just played from this new movie, just makes me laugh. Apparently, Channing Tatum shot this scene that's featured in the trailers, so it's not a spoiler, where his character Dash ends up with leeches on his back. Apparently, they shot that on the second day of the film, and Channing Tatum had to take off his shirt with leeches glued to him or stuck to him and say hi, and then film and then get a certain appendage out while Sandra Bullock brilliantly delivers this monologue about that certain appendage. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this film. There was first, we went to see this on Monday, a sort of like a surprising date night with me and my partner, and we thought we would keep trying to see this, and every time that we were planning to see it on that day, we'd be like, oh, we're too tired from work and stuff, and life. So we finally got round to seeing it on Monday, and it's just a laugh out loud film. There were so many times that I laughed out loud at things. I'd say like that I very much enjoyed the humour. Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum have a great chemistry together. They're great together, and also I think it's so easy to forget that Channing Tatum is funny. Like his comedic timing is funny, and paired with that and Sandra Bullock's a genius comic timing and a genius comic delivery. They were hilarious together. So Sandra Bullock plays this like uptight novelist that writes romantic novels about a two characters that are treasure hunters, pretty much. And Channing Tatum comes in the story where he plays the cover model of the like hero in the books, Dash. And Channing Tatum's character, which his real name is Alan, has sort of adapted or taken on this persona of Dash, the fictional character that he plays. Well, not plays, he's literally just on the front cover in this very long wig, long blonde wig, but he's very much taken this persona and has run with it. Um, Alan isn't a hugely smart person, which Channing Tatum delivers brilliantly. He's hilarious. there's there's this one line that made me laugh, where he says to Sandra Bullock's character, saying that you look like a human mummy, and then a side character goes, "Mate, you know that all mummies are human, right?" So there's just funny little lines, and he's just overall funny. Um, but his character isn't one note, which I thought was great. Um, you realise that the reason he takes on the persona of Dash in some of his real life is that he's not confident in himself and stuff like that. The only one thing that I didn't sell between the chemistry between Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum was the romantic chemistry. They kind of, well, not shoehorned in a romance, but sort of, it's implied that Channing Tatum's character, uh, Alan slash Dash, um, has a secret crush on his favorite author, Sandra Bullock's character. I just didn't believe that 100%, but that's fine. I still enjoyed. Their chemistry was top notch, and their comedic timing with one another was funny. Like, if you don't go to a comedy and laugh out loud several times, then it means it's a shit comedy. Now, the other thing that was the standout for me was Brad Pitt in this film. Now, I love seeing Brad Pitt in films because, he's a very successful producer with his production company, an Oscar winner producer. I think his production company actually produced 12 Years of Slave, and obviously that film, when that came out, won a shit ton of awards at the Academy Awards. Uh, so I'm sure that um, he is an Oscar winner for a producer. Is he an Oscar winner for acting now? Gosh, shit, I can't remember. But anyway, back to the film. uh, Brad Pitt is amazing in this. He has some amazing his his character is called Trainer, and he comes to help Channing Tatum's character um, find Sandra Bullock's character because she's been kidnapped by the villain of the film, played by Daniel Radcliffe. But Brad Pitt in this film, they need to hurry up and give Brad Pitt um, his own action franchise, because he was brilliant in this. Obviously, there's a very talented stunt double that's doing some amazing stuff, but the action involving Brad Pitt was amazing. He was fucking awesome. And this film has just made me more excited for Brad Pitt's film The Bullet Train, directed by one of the directors that directs. Sorry, I'll say direct one more time, shall I? The guy that directs John Wick, the John Wick franchise. So there's a particular scene with Brad Pitt where the action in it is so sick, and Brad Pitt's character is awesome, and he's sexy looking with his long blonde hair. I just love seeing Brad Pitt back in films because he just hasn't acted as much as he frequently did. He did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that was sort of like his return to, not return, but he hadn't been in films for a while, and he's great in this. And he just oozes sex appeal. Even at his age now, I was watching it, I was like, damn, Brad Pitt is still one hell of a sexy man. Now, talking about the villain, Daniel Radcliffe, he plays this uptight rich guy that is looking for this famous artifact that Sandra Bullock's character highlights in her new book, which is called the crown of fire, which is from this ancient civilization, this ancient treasure that Daniel Radcliffe is looking for desperately. Now, I struggle with Daniel Radcliffe because every time he's in a film, I automatically think of Harry Potter, but this one I did not. Um, he was good. He was good. I enjoyed his band. He was funny, and also his character has amazing clothes in this. I know that's such a funny thing to say, but his wardrobe in this film is great. I love the clothes that he wears. Well, he plays this, rich man that is desperate to gain some sort of recognition because he's fallen out with his family, or his brother has taken over his family business. So he's pissed, and he wants to find this crown of fire, and that's where the treasure aspect of the film comes in. Uh, in terms of like finding the treasure and the whole like Indiana Jones esque bit, I feel like that could have been a bit more complicated. Um, it didn't desperately need to, but I feel like they could have fleshed that bit out. It feels like the characters sort of got to the like tomb, if you want to call it, a little bit too quickly. Um, but yeah, apart from that, I really enjoyed this film. I think the main thing that I walked out was that Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock have great chemistry. They were hilarious. There were so many laugh out moments. And for people that know me personally, that I don't have a subtle laugh. So when I find something funny, I find something funny. And my next one on this monthly roundabout, I knew I was going to mess it up. My next one on this Roundup list. Christ, maybe I should rename this episode because maybe I can't say Roundups. On this Roundups list, we are diving into the Wizarding World, the new film in the HP spin off that is Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. And before I chat about this movie, here's a cheeky clip.
It's all right. Bhutan. Correct. 3 points to Hufflepuff. The Kingdom of Bhutan sits high in the eastern Himalayas. It's a place of indescribable beauty. Some of our most important magic has its origins there. They say if you listen carefully enough, the past whispers to you.
So, in this third installment of the Fantastic Beasts films, we see the return, of course, of Eddie Redmayne, Jude Law as sexy young Dumbledore. We have a new Grindelwald, performed by Mads Mikkelsen, and an array of fantastic beasts. Yeah, no, this is the third film. I think we can all agree that the last one that came out in 2018, uh, well, in my opinion, was just a bit hard to get through. Um, I think there was just too many stories going on, too many like too much plot, and too many stories. Like, there's a story about a baby drowning on a boat. There's the Newt story, and then there's the Dumbledore, um, not fighting Grindelwald. So this one, The Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore, we of course see the return of the Harry Potter directing veteran, that is David Yates, return for this third film. Bless him, he is not tired out from the Wizarding World just yet. Which good for him. Yeah. Well, my first thing off the bat for this third one is that it's just a hell of a lot more enjoyable film than the second one. I just found it so much more fun, so much more magical, even though there's serious themes still going on between, you know, Grindelwald trying to build up his following to take over the magical world, and then eventually the Muggle world, or in the US, the Nomads. Um, Even though there's seriousness behind that, I just feel like this film earned the heart back of the franchise. Because I think the last one sort of killed it. Sort of felt a bit too serious and a bit dark and a bit dull. Um, Now, I feel like I've got to discuss the elephant in the room, but I absolutely loved Mads Mikkelsen as Grindelwald. I was sad to see about Johnny Depp leaving. Let's not dive into all that shit because I don't really want to. But it's sad that Johnny Depp had to leave. But Dave Yates and the team at WB picked the perfect person. Mads Mikkelsen he's just brilliant at playing a baddie, but in this film, him and Jude Law have fantastic chemistry. And almost sexual chemistry. Because in this film, which China asked WB to cut out because, China doesn't want any gay shit. Dumbledore and Mads Mikkelsen meet Mads Mikkelsen Grindelwald. At the beginning of the film, the very start, we have a scene where I would say it reminds me of the classic, most well-known scene, which is Heat, with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro in 1995, where Jude Law and Grindelwald are sitting down just having a cup of tea, and it's sort of Dumbledore's last resort to try and persuade Grindelwald not to do what he's planning to do. And I think Grindelwald says, "Why did you make that blood pact?" Which is the reason why Dumbledore has not been able to go against Grindelwald so far in the series is because of this blood pact. They can't physically hurt one another. So anyway, so he says, "Why did you make this in the first place?" And Dumbledore just honestly and openly says, "It's because I loved you." And that was great. For us Potterheads and people that know about Harry Potter, um, J.K. Rowling did come out and say that, that Dumbledore is gay uh, some years ago. And then obviously we found out that Grindelwald and Dumbledore had a relationship with one another, a romantic relationship. Relationship? A romantic relationship. So, and it was heavily implied in the last one, but this is sort of like confirming that, you know, these guys have a complicated history with one another. Um, and Jude Law and Mads Mikkelsen portray it beautifully. You can it's almost poetic, really, I'd say, because you know that they know that they will eventually have to fight one another, but they still have a deep fondness from one another, and obviously validate their love for each other that they had. Um, and you can tell throughout the film that Dumbledore is Dumbledore is having the most hard time having to come to the conclusion that he will have to defeat the love of his life. Um, yeah, they just had amazing chemistry. Um, there's even a point in the film when I was sitting in the cinema with with my mate Charlotte and Kaz, and this isn't a spoiler, but they sort of are fighting Grindelwald and Dumbledore towards the end of the film. But you can see that they're not trying to hurt one another. They're just trying to, like, fight but not fight. And they get really close to one another. And in my brain, I just wanted to say, I just wanted to shout out loud, going, "Just fucking kiss already!" You can sense the chemistry that they have. It's amazing. Because I don't think um, Johnny Depp really had a scene with Jude Law's Dumbledore in the last scene, apart from him looking in a mirror and seeing Grindelwald's reflection in the magical mirror from HB. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, so their chemistry is off the charts, and their chemistry has made me definitely want to see more. Just because it was incredible. Mads Mikkelsen's wardrobe in this is beautiful. He has some amazing suits. Um, I love his look of his Grindelwald. It's not it's not overcomplicated. There's just a bit of like silver in his hair. Um, yeah, he just wears some amazing suits in this. In this, it sounds like because the previous review in this episode, I was talking about costume. Now I'm talking about costume again. I just really appreciate good costume. Costumes in these films have been top notch. Like, I'm jealous of Dumbledore's um, jacket that he wears in this film. It's epic. I want it. Um, Eddie Redmayne is great in this in this in this film. He's great as Newt Scamander again. He has a great scene with his brother, Theseus, I think, is his brother's name. Forgive me, I can't remember the actor's name. And of course, Newt has to do a funny little dance, which is featured in the trailer, and that was extremely funny. There's a great scene uh, that reminded me of the spiders scene in Harry Potter. You know, when they go into the woods and come across the giant spider. So it's similar to that. Jacob Kowalski, the Nomad, he's super funny in this, and he's like the heart of the film. Um, I think they did a great. It was a great idea to have a non-magic person in this trilogy, because he is us in this film. Excuse me. He is us in these movies. Like, we are his eyes, and Dumbledore in this film gives him a wand to play with, and there are some funny scenes with that. Um, and he's battling with not having Queenie in his life, um, which is sad, but he just has his character, Jacob, has so much heart. There are some great new additions, including uh, some great new additions and some great old ones. I just appreciated it more because The story was more simple. It was more linear and more. There wasn't like three different storylines that you had to follow. It was just a clear plan. You know, Dumbledore has recruited Newt and his crew of wizards and a trusty nomad, Jacob, to help stop Grindelwald from taking over the magical world and eventually the nomad world, or to us UKians, the Muggins. Muggins? The Muggles. Um, the magic is great in this. I love seeing adults do magic. Um, you know, I love the Harry Potter films, but I loved when we got to see the adults do magic in the Harry Potter films, like Sirius Black and you know Dumbledore's original army. Um, not Dumbledore's original army, the Order of the Phoenix. Um, where we saw adults do magic, and I love it when we see. Obviously, we don't really see any kids in this, apart from we do go back to the beautiful Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, which of course gave me the feels because as soon as you hear that classic John Williams score, you automatically go, ugh. Um, but yeah, the magic was cool. The answers to Credence, where Credence is from, was satisfying, surprising actually, because I did not expect it. Um, and I hope we get to see a bit more of Dumbledore's brother, Aberforth, because I enjoyed him and I would like to see him a bit more fleshed out. But you know, I'm not sure we will see Ezra Miller's Credence in the next one. I just got a feeling. And now we are switching to TV for the last thing that I'm talking about on this list, which is a TV show that I watched this month that I absolutely loved it. It was a beautiful storytelling of young love. Beautiful. I think this show is such one of the best shows that I've seen this year and probably last year, to be honest. I just found it beautiful. I cried so many times. So before I waffle on, it is Netflix's new show based on the best-selling books. It is Heartstoppers. And before I talk any more about it, here's a cheeky clip.
Would you go out with someone who wasn't a girl? I don't know. Maybe. Would you kiss someone who wasn't a girl? I don't know.
So this beautiful new Netflix show, Heartstoppers, you need to go and watch this now. Like now, I'm not even taking the piss because I loved this show. It was so beautiful. It's about young love, discovering yourself, discovering your sexuality, discovering how you fit in school. We all have those memories in school where we didn't feel like we fit in or was not sure where we belonged to in terms of social group, in terms of sexuality, in terms of anything. Um, of course, this show is based on the popular books titled the same name. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I just loved it. Anyway, I just absolutely loved it. It was just such a beautiful piece of television. Probably one of my most favorite bits of TV, which I did say before. One of my bits. So Let me just read this. Ready? Teens Charlie and Nick discover their unlikely friendship might be something more as they navigate school and young love in a coming of age series. Now the cast are top notch in this series. Um, Charlie is played brilliantly by Joe Locke. Sorry, I'm absolute shit with names, as people know with my dyslexic brain. And Kit is played by, not Kit, Nick is played by a terrific actor as well, Kit Connor. And we follow Charlie, which he is this charming, this socially awkward, this heart of gold 15-year-old as he navigates school, a new start of a new school year. He's openly gay out to the school. Good for him. Well done him. Because sadly, it's still daunting to be gay or to be different or to be different to your classmates in school without feeling intimidated by students, by teachers, by the education system. So Charlie is out as a gay young man and he finds himself in his forum sitting next to the rugby champion or the best rugby player in the school, Nick. He's never met him before, and suddenly they have an instant chemistry with one another. And they do. They do. The two young actors are amazing in this. And there are so many sweet moments that anybody that has a crush on anybody or anybody that is gay or is trying to figure out their sexuality or remembers trying to figure that out will relate to this show. And that's why I say it's super important. I cried so many times at this show. Yeah, so many times. The clip that I played you before chatting about it is a beautiful moment when they first kiss Nick and Charlie. And Nick, of course, has a tougher time with trying to figure out his sexuality and what he wants to do. Um, the show's just brilliantly written by the show's creator, which is Alice Osman. She also wrote the books, which I think is a brilliant idea. When you're adapting something from a book to a TV show, you might as well give it to the person that wrote the books. That makes sense. But that's not always true. Just because, the person that wrote the source material, they might not be able or might not have the equipped skills to adapt it. But this is a beautiful, beautiful TV show. I can't wait to watch it again. I can't wait. Also, there's some beautiful little bits of animation that's featured in this show, which is cute. There's just so many beautiful moments and so many important life lessons. And I'm just a big softie for coming of age stuff. Um, I love coming of age stuff like Stand By Me, any young characters that are finding themselves, because we can all relate to that because we've all been in that situation. So yeah, so if you haven't watched this show yet, then what have you been doing? Have you been living under a rock? Me and my partner Mosh, we watched it in the entire evening. You know, I try not to do that because I try and space it out a bit more in terms of watching something. Try not to binge it all, but we just couldn't help ourselves because it's just beautiful. Beautiful, and you need to watch it now. Like, go. Stop listening to me and go and watch it now. Go, go. So that's enough of me waffling on. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Redhead Boy podcast. I will hopefully be doing another one of these monthly roundups of what I've watched in May. There's so much stuff to look forward to watch. I can't wait for May, and also it's my birthday, so whoop whoop. Getting older. Yeah! So thank you guys for listening. As always, I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, you guys take care.